add that in the half shape. So we've got the 2. 4 is open. We've got the root. We're going to play the 4. We're going to play the 6. Okay, and we're going to either play the 2 or we're going to let the root ring out. We'll choose the 2 over it because we're playing the 2, 4, 6 root. That's the chord, so we're going to let the 2. So what we're actually doing is just hitting all 4 of these guys. Here's where it gets easy, and this one. So if you want to just choose the top 5 strings, we leave the 4 open. We're not going to play the bottom string because the root is like, it would be like going like this. It would be like going like this. We'd have the minor 7th as the lowest note. That's going to kind of, confuse the tonality of the chord. So again, this is the chord we're looking at. Okay, and we're not in the regular tuning now. We're down C tuned. So the G minor shape. Now, why are we doing a G minor shape? Because we have the E shape. Here's the E shaped root right there. 5 root 3. E shaped root. It's an E shaped C. I'm playing the same E you play open, brought down 2 whole steps. Okay, and now we're going to be going around that circle. Right here, we're in the E-shaped D, the E-shaped C, and of course we have the D shape because it's a big cage now, because it's a nice long cage. Okay, and we wanted to study the pentatonics for that too. So we have from E goes to G in a pentatonic scale. E shape goes to G shape, but it's going to be minor, just like the third minor is going to be the A minor shape. Okay, so we're back down here. We have our Dorian. We brought the Dorian down next to the 7. Okay, so this guy is next to this one. Okay, just to make it easy to compare the shapes. So again, we start on the E shape. Isn't that good? We're in tune today. And then we're going up to the next pentatonic shape, which is G minor. But as you know, we can't get the whole chord, so we're going to do G minor half shape. In order to do that, we're going to add the 7th of that, which is the root. So right here, this chord, just like that. All right, so that's 4 root 6, 4 root 6 2. That's what we're playing there, and that is our half shape. This guy. Okay, it's tonal, but believe me, for people who play like violin, that's not a bad chord, because violin being in 5th, you're dealing with chords that are jumbled. The inversions aren't normal guitar inversions. We still have to make an adjustment, so we're familiar with. We're going to play this. Okay, we're going to be playing this when we want that G minor shape to go. Okay, something like that. We still have to make the adjustment, but it's going to be an easy adjustment. All we're going to do is drop that minor 7th down 1 half step to the root 7th. Now, it's difficult with the half position, but let's look for a place where, so that this is all we're playing. We're just doing the 7 here and these 3 guys, and this is it. Okay, so now we're playing what? We're doing the 4, the 7, the 4, the 6, and the 2. Okay, now it's a half diminished 7th chord, regular chord jargon. Now let's see how easy it can be when we're not dealing with a half position. So right here we have a nice E minor shape up here in the Dorian box. Well, lo and behold, my Dorian's just one whole step below your tuning. Here's your E shaped D. Here's the E shaped D. Now in the Dorian box, the root chord, so this would be the key of C because I put the capo on the 2, which is on the D, which is the 2nd of C. So we've got here the D-shaped root 5, root 3 right here. Okay, it's still the key of C. Pentatonic scale, D shape's going to go to an E shape 2nd minor, E minor shape. Now what do people do when they want to play an E minor? They usually want to go into an E minor 7th, right? No problem. All the time. Okay, instead of going to that root, okay, we're going to go to the 7 here. There, this is our substitution now. We're going to focus on here. We don't have to play a half shape. Now we've got good old E minor shaped here. 6, 2, 4. Instead of going to the root for the 7th, look at how easy this is. We're not going to drop the 2 to the root. This is the important rule for making this substitution. Maintain the entire minor action fingers. So we maintain that E minor. When we're going to the 7th, we're just going to go to this 7th. You hear that? And that's a 6-string chord. Again, maintain, to go to the 7th, to make the adjustment, we're not going to do this. Because when we do that, we lose the root of the 2nd, the local root. We lose the 2nd. Okay, when we're dropping that down. So this is a D major. Here's a D minor. Drop the 2 to the root. We lose our D minor, the actual note. So maintain that E while adding the 7th. Instead of adding this guy, of course it sounds good if you go from one to the other and then drop it down. Keep going to the 6th. But here it is in the 7th. So this is the substitution here. It's so easy. If you're in the D box, what's the D? What's the tripentatonic in the D? D, G, A. So it's D, G. We're at making the 2 plus 7 substitution. So it's going to be the 2 shape is going to be the E minor shape in the D box. Okay, this is the long D box. All right. This is the sunken notes of the D scale, the D box that we can't get to, but just keeping them there because for spacing in the long cages. Because remember, the long cages are going to overlap each other anyway. It's like this actually. It's not like this. This is sharing. These are strings. These are frets. Okay. Let's look at this. So we're going to go to that E minor shape. So that's it. So the tripentatonic is D. We go to the 4th is the A shape. We go from this D to the 5th is the G shape. This is where they're at. The shape underneath is the G shape. Remember, the G string shape is always 6, 7 root. The D string shape is always 2, 3, 4. And the A string shape, the short, is always 5, 6. Okay? So we've got D, G, A shaped. These are shape chords, but it's really C, G shaped F, A shaped G. Starting on the D shape here with 5 root 3, we're going to go ahead in the pentatonic scale to the E minor shape. Maintain that E minor and add. You can play it sevenths if you like to just find it, and then drop that minor seventh. This is regular chord jargon. E minor seventh. Make it to an E minor sixth. Regular chord jargon. The seventh to the sixth in the minor is only a half step. That's why that's easy. Scoot along here till we get to that Phrygian box right here. Now we've got the third is the lowest playable note. Okay, and we're going to make our 2 plus 7 substitution, we're going to be looking at a D minor shape. Why are we looking at a D minor shape? Because we're starting in a C shape. The 1, 4, 5 is C shaped C, E shaped F, G shaped G. Okay, so the second is the D minor shaped D minor. Alright, normally we would play that seventh like this, you know, that little D minor or seventh chord we like to play. Just drop it to the B. Now we have our B because our lowest playable note is the E there. Okay? Now if we want to do this thing from the fourth, we just go over to the Lydian cage. Right, here's our Lydian cage. Let's move the capo up to the 4 now. Now we've got 4, 5, 6, 7, root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is a Lydian scale. Okay? With that augmented fourth. No bloopers there. So here's the D shape half position, because now the D minor shape is on the bar. Okay? It's on the bar. Only one note of that D minor shape could be on the bar. Alright? So now we're going to want to add the seventh there. Okay? To get our substitution. But first, what are we going to do? I have it lined up here for us perfectly. Right here is what we're looking at. Okay? In the 4 box, we've got 2, 4, 6, and root now. Root being the 7th. Okay, the local 7th of that Dorian. Alright, it sounds like it's going back to the root of the root scale, because it's kind of like a 1, 4, 5 there. That's jazz stuff. So we have here a half-shaped D minor. Now we're dropping it down. We're in the Lydian cage. Just drop this down. We've got our 7th right